What's up, fragrance connoisseurs? We had the top 10 spring niche collection, and now I'm going to give you the top 10 spring clone selection. So sit back, relax, stay tuned for station identification, and we'll come back with the top 10 spring clones. All right, fragrance connoisseurs, we're back. Whatever you want to call it, inspiration, fragrances, clone fragrances, these fragrances are here to stay. The price for colognes and fragrances has gotten out of hand. It's really expensive, and some people want to have the ability to smell great and not spend a lot of money. So we will get into what I see in my collection as of right now, which are my top 10 spring fragrances. We're going to start with one that is known, and this is Assad by Lattafa. Now, Assad by Lattafa is an inspiration clone of the Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now, to me, Dior Sauvage is the fast food of fragrances. Now, the reason why I call it the fast food of fragrances is not because it is in any way a bad smelling fragrance. However, it is everywhere. It is like the Oprah Winfrey of fragrances. You get Dior Sauvage, you get Dior Sauvage, you get Dior Sauvage. Everybody has Dior Sauvage. It is like church in the city. It's gonna be on every corner and it's gonna be everywhere. However, it's still a good smelling fragrance. So I have to put it on my list. This is a good interpretation of it. It does not last, this one, Assad, does not last as long as Dior Sauvage Elixir, but for the money, and I'll put on the screen all of these because most of these are $36 and under. There's just two that are over that. But for the money, you can't beat it, where Sauvage Elixir is somewhere between $250 and $280. Now, I am going to try Al Haramain Aslan Oud Blue Edition, and that one is supposed to be a beast. It's supposed to be straight to parfum, it's supposed to be better blended, better naturals, and I'm gonna get my nose on that and see how that goes. But that is my first one. My second one is by Afnan, and this is Tarathi Blue. So this is a inspiration or clone of Bulgari Tiger. And this one is simply, it's pretty simple in the fact that it is citruses and woods, spices, and musk. It gives you this kind of like ginger ale fizz accord that's really nice. And for the price, this one does a really good job. The first one that we talked about was the Assad, and Assad I paid $25.06 for. This one I paid right at around $33.79. If you like Bulgari Tiger, this is a good interpretation of it. It lasts a good amount of time. It projects well. I think it lasts 6 to 8 hours on skin. And for $33.79 instead of $300 for Bulgari Tiger, this one is a great one. If you want the best one that is niche, I believe it is Sospiro Vibrato. That one lasts the longest and is a very good interpretation of that Bulgari Tiger DNA. The key also with Big Beard Business from Navitus Parfums is also a good inspiration of that as well. The third one, and this has to be the ugliest bottle out of all of the clone fragrances I have, and clone fragrances are known to have some ugly bottles. But this one is the Amir collection from Paris Corner, and it's Celestial. This one is an inspiration or a clone of Marc-Antoine Barrios, and it's Ganymede. Ganymede this is grown man stuff, and this is a good clone. I don't understand why such a masculine, stately fragrance comes in such a ugly bottle. I really don't even understand that. However, this has mineral notes, suede and saffron, and this is just, it's perfection as far as I'm concerned. It is close enough to the original. I would say about 90 to 95% in my view. It's very, very good. I have a decant of the original, and when this came out, I didn't even buy the original, even though I had a decant. So that's number 3. And just to let you know, these are in no particular order. As far as I like all of these, and for clone fragrances, all of these are a 9 or 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned. The next one is Al Wissam Pour Homme, and this is by Versace. Now, this one actually took the place of another inspiration clone fragrance that I had, and that was Club de Nuit Sillage. And this one was a good interpretation of Creed's Silver Mountain Water. Creed's Silver Mountain Water, the reformulation or the one that I had, just did not perform. So I was looking for something that had that same DNA, and Sillage was a good interpretation of it. It's a little synthetic, maybe a lot synthetic, but it does have that inky feel. However, Versace's version of it is better blended, and it's a little softer. It's not as pungent with the inkiness. It's a little softer. It's a little more in the background, and it's blended a lot better. And it has good performance, but you're gonna get that same Silver Mountain Water type inkiness and performance with the bergamot, the lavender, rose, musk, oud, and oak moss. It is a really nice one, and I had Sillage as one of my top clone fragrances, and now this one has come in front of Sillage. The next one we'll go to is Al Haramain, and this is Al Haramain Amber Oud Blue Edition. Now this one is really good. This is probably one of the most expensive ones that is in the collection. This one I paid $49.28 for, and it is only a 60 ml. However, these are, I believe these are straights. I don't see where it talks about it right there, but I will put it up on the screen just to verify what I said. But I believe these are straights, and they are excellent in the way they are blended and manufactured. To me, this is not a direct clone of any straight fragrance. To me, this seems like it's an inspiration, and if you took Chanel Blue de Chanel, and you took Dylan Blue and mixed them together, this is what you get. This one could be signature scent. It's a great fragrance. It's blended really well. It performs really well. It's a great fragrance to have. The next one, I'll stay right within the Al Haramain, and we'll stick right with it, but this will be the same basic line, but the charcoal carbon edition. So this is Al Haramain Amber Oud Carbon Edition. There's something, I think there's one by doing the Aslan, and I think that's charcoal edition. That's why I keep saying charcoal edition, but this is carbon edition. So this Amber Oud, this is the most expensive one. It was $57.99, $58, but this one is a very good one as well. This one, another one that I don't believe is an exact match. This one, to me, is basically if you mix cool water and green Irish tree together, then that would be what this would come out to be. Now, cool water and green Irish tree were basically made by the same perfumer, but it was made in different ways, different naturals, things like that, but giving you that same type of vibe. This one is kind of in the middle of both of those, and this is a great one. The next one that we talk about is Invicto Intense, and this is by Fragrance World, Invicto Intense. Now, Invicto Intense is just what it is. Now, the bottle is a little different, but of course, this is Paco Rabanne Invictus Intense, and this one is more of a spring fragrance, not really for the high heat if you go by the way people talk about fragrances. It's a little deeper, it's darker, it's less sweet than the normal Invictus line, so it doesn't give you that sweetness, but it focuses on black pepper, whiskey, laurels, ambergris, and salt. It's a nice staple, and one that I really like. It lasts 6 to 8 hours on skin, and that one was $29.99. The next one, we're moving right along. This is Afnan 9 p.m. This one, of course, is an inspiration. To me, it doesn't smell exactly like, but it's right there in that same kind of scent DNA of Jean Paul Gaultier, Ultramalt. Now, this one is a nuclear fragrance. It will last 9 to 10 hours on skin. I have gotten mad compliments. You can see I did do a little dent in it, and you don't have to use a lot, but I don't have a full bottle of Ultramalt, so I don't know why, but this one will get you that same Ultramalt vibe, and it lasts as long as OG or longer, and you won't feel like you've assaulted someone if you grab the bottle the wrong way. So you could have a average looking bottle and have a great fragrance. I think 9 p.m. is a classic, and in fact, if I would do top 10 clones for life, which I did before, this is in it, and I think it would stay. The next one we'll go is one that I did a review of not too long ago, and this one is Iconic Nourri pour Homme, and this is by Grandeur Elite. This one is a really good interpretation of YSL La Nuit de l'Homme Bleu Electrique. It gets you 90% to 95% there. The only difference that I noted was in the deep dry down. This has something that's a little sweeter, but it gives you that deep, rich, dark kind of blue, because I don't think Bleu Electrique is a true blue fragrance. I think it's a little richer. This is another one that I would say may not be great for the high heat, but would be great for the spring and summer nights. Now, we also have, as a backup, this is Jack Clubs by Fragrance World. Again, this one is a good interpretation as well. Let the bottle macerate. This one, I had to let the bottle macerate for 2 to 3 weeks before it was a viable addition. When I first got it, first sprayed it, it didn't smell as well. Coming up to number 10, and this is one of the newer ones that I have. This one right here is Art of Arabia 1 by Lattafa. This one is supposed to be an inspiration or a clone of, I believe, of Louis Vuitton Imagination, and it's a pretty good one. I could not find the actual notes on this, but it is a good interpretation of Imagination. However, it's about 80%. I have done a comparison between Louis Vuitton Imagination and this fragrance, and it should be out at about the same time that I put out this top 10 spring clone collection. But just some notable differences. It's 80%. The opening, it has mint that Louis Vuitton doesn't have. It doesn't have the orange that Louis Vuitton has. So that's some differences that it has. but it does have the black tea and the ginger, and it does have cinnamon that you can smell into the dry down. It's a great interpretation. It really gets you there, and it's something that I think is going to be a fragrance that I utilize in this spring and summertime. I have Louis Vuitton Imagination, and this gives me that same kind of vibe, even though I say it's about 80%. The Louis Vuitton, of course, is better blended. It is a higher quality fragrance. However, this one lasts 8 hours on skin, and it is a great fragrance and gives you that same kind of vibe and DNA. Compliment magnet. I've only worn it out twice, but I got compliments every time. It projects well. It is at least arm's length projection for the first 2 to 3 hours. This one is worth the price of admission, and it was only $36.23. Great fragrance. Now, I wanted to give one honorable mention, and this is by Versace, and it is Shagaf Pour Homme. This one gives you kind of that sweet bubblegum Paco Rabanne Invictus DNA. It's really kind of sweet. It's really gives you that aquatic feel. This one is relatively cheap. I think I got it for under $25, and I'm bringing it as an honorable mention. If you can see, I had it last summer. It does for a clone. That is a big dent. I actually wore this a lot, and for the price, it smells a lot more expensive than what it costs. This one is a pretty nice one. Versace really does a lot of good interpretations. I don't think this is an actual clone of anything, and a lot of Versace fragrances are not exactly clones. So that's a good honorable mention. I know I probably should put the honorable mention in the front, but I had it on my left side, and that's why it came up last. So there you have it. Those are my top 10 spring clones or inspiration fragrances. I think that this is a good list. I will put down in the links where you can get samples. Decant Boutique is actually a great place where you can get samples of inspiration clone fragrances. Not too many of the other decant places give you that much of a variety to sample clones. And so then with the price that they have for the decants, you could actually get a lot of clone fragrances in one setting, decanted, and to know if they're good or not, where you're paying $5 to $6 just for a good sized decant to know what you got. And that may be something that you want to do, even though clone fragrances are not that expensive. So there you have it. Most of them were $36 and under. 2 Al Haramains were between $40 and $50. Well, closer to $50. One was almost $50 to $60. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the content, we always ask you, we thank you. We made 1,000 subscribers. Share the content, like and comment in below. Tell what are your favorite clone fragrances, especially for the spring. We'll keep doing this. We appreciate all of the love and support. Again, take care. God bless.
And I sniff it to all the people who like frags like Charm City does. Made this track so you really know what live was. Come together over fragrances. That's the why, cuz getting love and support.